Welcome back to our Principle of Accounts class. In the last class, we discussed how to record various transactions in the two-column cash book or the cash book. And we stated that when the company is gaining money or somebody is paying money to the company or the business, it is recorded on the debit side of the cash book. And when the company is losing money, for example, they are paying someone or they are buying something and they are losing money, it is recorded on the credit side of the cash book. Now today we're going to deal with balancing off the cash book. Now when we finish recording all or making all our transactions for the month, we have to balance off the cash book, and this is what we're going to discuss today. So let's get into today's lesson. So we're going to start by balance. After we finish recording all the transaction in the cash book, we're going to start by balancing off the cash columns. Now when I said balancing off the cash column, we have to add up both the debit and the credit cash column separately. So let's add up the debit cash column first. In the debit cash column, we have $33, $25, $37, and $18. When we add up all of those, we have $113. Now we're going to add up the credit side cash column. And in the credit side cash column, we have $20, $19, and $25. When we add that up, we have $64. Now that we have both credit and debit cash column here, note that we don't have to show the working for this. We could do the working and put it somewhere in our jotting of our book, and we're going to look at which side has a larger amount. In this case, the debit side has a larger cash amount, which is $113. We're going to use that the side that has a larger amount, which is the debit side here, and place it at the bottom of the account or the cash book. They should be in the same row under the cash account for debit and the credit side, as you can see here. And the highest amount was 113, so we place 113 in the same row under the cash column for the debit side and the cash column for the credit side. Now this is stating that when we add up both the cash column and the debit the debit cash column and the credit cash column, we will end up with $113. When we add up on the debit side $33, $25, $37, $18, we end up with $113. But on the credit side, when we add up $20, $19, and $15, we won't end up with $113. We will end up with $64. Here is where the balancing of the cash book comes into play now. Now, in the month of August, this example here, we receive on the debit side $113 of cash, and we give out $64 cash in total. So that means we have some money left back. So we have to minus the debit and credit cash, and we end up with $49. Now what we're going to do with this $49, we're going to place it under the credit cash column so that it will add up to $113. And we'll place the last date because we're creating the cash book for the last day of the month, which will be 30th August. And we're placing the detailed balance carried on, or CD. And the balance carried on is the money that was remain after we paid out all our expense, or the money in hand that we have left back for the month. And when we finish that, we're going to place that same $49 into the new one, because the cash book is prepared monthly, or for every period. In this case, it's period monthly, and for the next period, it will start in September the 4th, and we will place in the detail column balance brought down. This means that we had $49 remaining from last month, and now in the month of September, we will start that month with $49, because this was the amount of money or cash that was left back from the month before. and that is basically balancing off our cash book. Now we have to do the same thing to balance off the bank columns of the cash book. First, we have to add up both sides of the debit and credit bank column in the cash book. And on the debit side of the bank columns, we have $1,000, $244, $408, and $20. When we add that up, we have $1,672. Then we're gonna, in our working, we're gonna add up the credit bank column, which is, in that column we have $105, $95, $268, and that will give us a total of $486. So that means we paid out $486 in checks. Now we have to see which side have the larger amount, and the debit side in this case have the large amount. We will look at the example later on how the debit side won't always have the larger amount, but not in this example here. And since it's the debit side has a large amount, that 1672 we will use to place at the bottom of the column, the bank columns for both sides. Then we have to balance it out, because when we add up the debit side, we'll end up with 1672. But when we add up the credit side, we won't end up with 1672. So we have to find out what is the extra money remaining. So we have to minus the 1672 from the $486, and we end up with $1,204, and we're going to place that on the credit side. So when we add up the credit side, it will end up with 1672 as well. Then we're going to balance off, place that 1672 in the new month, because it's stating here that we had 1672, $1,672 we receive in the bank, and we spend out $486 by checks, and we remain with, for the new month, the amount of money we have in the bank is $1,204. Now this is how the completed two-column cash book should look. You can freeze the video, take a look back at the exam question. You could write it down and try practice working it. Now this has bring us to the end of today's lesson. I hope that you have learned something. This was the third video of the three-part video. Keep safe, and I will see you in the next lesson.